Welcome to Vegas Pulse, stories from the back of the house. And I've got a guy came to Las Vegas in 1973. I beat you by 2 years, Vaughn. 1973 was an amazing person. He had an advertising agency. He's been a casino host. He's a sworn Buddhist. Went to Buddhism, and he's just a terrific guy. Been a longtime friend of mine, and he was my number 2 man at the Sahara. Ladies and gentlemen, Vegas Vahan.
Hey, brother, it's good to be with you, man.
Good to see you, Vaughn. I appreciate you coming to the studio.
My pleasure, man. It's like you're my older brother.
Oh, that's all right. I am a little older than you, but happy birthday.
You gave me a break when you took me into the Sahara.
Thank you for saying that. Let's talk about your beginnings. You go back to Vegas back in 73. There's an interesting story about how you came to town and some of the things you encountered. Fill us in on that.
It was wild, man. I did not plan to live here. I was traveling from Michigan. I was born in Detroit. In Lansing, Michigan, I became a DJ. I was on the radio. And everybody said, you got a great show. You got to get into New York or L.A., and I'm like eating it up. I'm like 25 years old, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't like the snow, so L.A. is where I'm going to go. And I went on the road to
So you started out going to L.A. You weren't
I started, and my journey is to go to L.A. to be a DJ. And I stopped in Vegas because I had a friend that lived here, and he was telling me, this place is awesome, you got to check it out, blah, blah, blah. So I think I'm going to check it out before I go to L.A. Before I even got hold of him, I gambled.
Yeah.
And I lost all the money I saved to make the trip. I saved for a year, a year. Came 2000. I had $2,000. This is 73.
$2,000.
That was big money.
Was big money in 1973.
That was big money. So I'm like playing and trying to win and this and that, and I would win a couple of times and it would be great and this is good, but I couldn't stop. I kept going, I kept going, I kept going. So at that time, that was the Hilton Hotel, was the last hotel casino that I was at. It's called the Westgate now. But anyway, I lost every penny. And I walked out, I was crying. What have I done? I didn't even call my buddy yet. I'm in town for 8 hours, maybe 10 hours.
You lost all your money in the first 8 to 10 hours you were in Las Vegas?
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
I bet you're not the only one that's done that,
but
my
man,
Lord.
I'll tell you. Well, anyway, I was down and out. So then I didn't even have money to call anybody. We didn't have cell phones. I had to walk in, go in the pit, and ask the pit boss if I could use the phone to call my buddy so he could pick me up or if he could let me come over. I was driving a van that one of my rock and roll bands, I would provide them with this is unbelievable. They would get vans to be able to carry their equipment to go their gigs, and I was managing them. Anyway, so I got this van. So I call my buddy. I'm busted. I've lost all my money. He says, come on over. I go over. I called my mother. I said I was robbed in Vegas. She was freaking out.
Stranded in Vegas.
She sends me another bankroll. And again, we didn't have Zelle and PayPal and whatever. So she sends me a money order. And I took that $2,000 she sent me and gambled and lost all of it again.
Hang on right there. We're going to take a break right now and pick it up when we come back. We'll be right back with more of Vegas Vahan and stories from the back of the house. We're speaking with Vegas Vahan, longtime Vegas resident and he's got some great stories. Truly, from the back of the house.
I was a degenerate, man. It was terrible. But I got a bankroll from my mother. I went and started gambling again. Lost everything. I'm like freaking out. Talked to my buddy. He says, look, you can sleep on my floor. He had a bean bag. I laid on the floor, and I just tried to figure, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I knew how to sell. I was a DJ. I could talk forever. So I started selling, advertising, and telephone books, right? So anyway, everything was cool. Make it a buck, this and that. And then I'm gambling every time I get paid. I'm gambling. And then I got hold of my brothers. My brothers were kind of drug dealers in Michigan. This is in the 70s. Everything's cool now. But anyway, they sent me a couple of pounds. I start selling the marijuana.
They sent you a couple of pounds from Michigan?
Yeah.
To Vegas?
Yeah. Well, this is in 73. I mean,
right.
they weren't hip to us too much. So
No, it wasn't as it is.
we could send it in the mail. I can't remember. I think they sent it to me in toilet paper bags or cartons, whatever. Anyway, so I'm just trying to get it together and gambling, can't stop, and this and that. And then I became a door-to-door salesman selling water conditioners. And there's this beautiful woman who's a secretary, and I'm hitting on her. And she doesn't want nothing to do with me, but she tells me about this chant called Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. She says, you got to do this chant. And I'm like, all right, but what about, why don't we go out Saturday? And she never took me out. She never took up on my invites. But one day she says, why don't you come to me with a Buddhist meeting and learn about this Nam Myoho Renge Kyo? So I thought, hey, man, all I heard her say was, why don't you come to me, with me? So I said, yeah, I'll do it. What time do I pick you up? She says, I'll meet you there. So, okay, so I go to the place. There's 9 women to every guy. I'm in heaven.
And we're all going to become Buddhists if that's the case,
this
right?
This is Buddhism? Oh, man, I'm in, man.
Yeah, 9 women to every guy.
That was unbelievable. It was heaven.
What's not to like?
So I started to do the chant, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You do it every morning.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Yeah, you do it every morning, every evening for 5 or 10 minutes, and you think about your happiness. So my happiness would be winning at gambling. So I'm chanting and I'm gambling, and it's not working out.
So the chant didn't help the gambling.
It didn't help me get gambling, but it helped me to realize this isn't working. You're losing every time you go out to gamble.
Yeah.
You might want to stop. And the marijuana morning and evening is a bit much. Slow down with that. I mean, this is thoughts that are coming to me as I'm doing the chant. It was amazing. So it just changed my whole outlook of life, and I thought, all right, look, I'm going to get it together. I am a DJ. I know how to make commercials. I know radio commercials like the back of my hand. So I thought about going to some businesses, and I remember going to a business and thought, man, I could do a better ad for them. I'm listening to the radio ad. I'm listening to their ads. And so I went in and I said, hey, man, I'm Vegas Vahan. I can, at that time, I was just Vahan. I became Vegas Vahan.
Yeah, you've always been Vegas Vahan.
But anyway, I said, hey, I could do a great commercial for you and make you some money. And he says, what would you do? So I did the ad for him. I just said it and, read it. And he says, how much? I said, $100.
There you go.
He gives me $100. I give him the ad, and then he says, can you put it on the radio? And I had no idea how to do that, but I was a DJ, so people were doing that kind of thing in Michigan. So I said, yeah, I can do it. Didn't know what I was going to do, but I called the radio stations and tried to figure it out, and they told me if you have an ad agency, we'll give you a commission,
right,
and this and that. And pretty soon, I'm starting an ad agency and doing advertising for this guy, and couple of other people heard my ad, business owners, and they said, "Hey, man, we'd like you to do our ad." And all of a sudden, I got
So you
clients.
began to have the Ryan Advertising Agency.
Ryan
Is that your
Advertising
middle
was it.
name, Ryan?
Well, I
Where
mean,
did you come up with Von Ryan?
when I was a DJ, I was Von Ryan.
Okay.
And the movie Von Ryan used to bring a train.
Yeah, with Sinatra.
And I used to bring the hits.
Von Ryan's Express.
Von Ryan's Express
Yeah.
brings the hits, and we played them on the radio. So I was Von Ryan.
So you had an ad agency.
Yeah.
I want to move along to some of your other things that you've done, because we want to talk about the time when you were a casino host at Caesars Entertainment. And we're going to come back to that. We're going to take a break right now. And
All right.
We'll be right back and talk about that, and we'll move up a little bit. You're watching Vegas Pulse, Stories from the Back of the House. I'm Ron Garrett. My guest today is Vegas Vahan. We'll be right back. This is Vegas Pulse, Stories from the Back of the House. I'm your host, Ron Garrett, along with my guest today, Vegas Vahan. Vahan, you were in the ad business,
Yeah.
and I became the entertainment and marketing director of the Sahara, and we were friends and competitors at one time, and we used to
actually,
rip
right,
each other's
right.
throat apart. I'd go
Well-
after you, you'd go after me, trying to steal each other's accounts. However, I needed your help in the marketing end and the entertainment end at the Sahara. So I brought you in as the advertising coordinator, or my number one person.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was a lot of fun. It worked out. But at one point in time, you wanted to go on to something a little bit different. So you became a casino host. You handled high rollers. Give us some story and insight on these crazy people and something that interesting that happened.
Well, you know, at the Sahara, that was beautiful. And by the way, I have a debt of gratitude to you for taking me in after I went under with the massage school.
Yeah.
I was a partner with a
I
good
didn't
buddy
take
of
you
mine.
in. You had lots of talent.
Oh, man, I had so many careers. But anyway, this thing about the executive host, we were in the advertising and entertainment at the Sahara, but the new owners came in,
Right.
and they brought their own people, and we were done.
Yeah.
But they told me, hey, we like your style. We'd like you to be an executive host. I said,
What does an
What-
executive host do?
what does an executive host
That
do?
was the question.
It was amazing. And the guy says, well, you walk around and you pretend you own the place and you just give people comps. You give them free stuff.
Free stuff.
Free rooms, free food.
Right, yeah.
You know, maybe some play. You know, they.
2-for-$1 dollars.
Yeah. You know, we had all kinds of different ways in keeping people. Anyway, so they said, we want you to be a host. So I'm becoming a host. Then they're going to redo the whole Sahara. And, man,
The new owners changed it into the
and
SLS.
They wanted me to go to work at Caesars. No, they wanted to go me to Circus.
Circus.
And I said, hey, man, my clients aren't going to go to Circus. So I put myself out to bid. And, man,
So you became the casino host over at the Flamingo.
yeah, and a casino, oh, man, you know what?
give us a-
Caesars Entertainment, I have such a debt of gratitude for them. They made me an offer, but it was too low. And I thought I was puffed up. You know, I was very arrogant in those days, and I thought I could do better. And anyway, I couldn't do better. And just as I was at my end, I'm chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. What am I going to do? And Caesars Entertainment, Napoleon was the director of the executive host. He gave me a call and he says, look, we can only start you with this, but if you do this, we'll put you up, 6 figures. And I said, I could do it. So I went there, and man, I had a couple of clients that I had from the Sahara, but
Were you able to bring your Sahara people
yeah,
over
yeah,
to
yeah.
the Flamingo?
I could do that because they weren't open, and so I was able to do that. But
Is it true that the hotels steal the other guys' hosts and players?
well, they try to, but there are contracts where
Didn't the Fontainebleau get in trouble with that recently?
Yeah, yeah. What are the thing? What is it called? It's a thing. What's it called?
Stealing guests.
You can't steal the guest.
Yeah,
you know,
steal
I don't
the
know
roller,
what
that's
it's
right.
called. But anyway, so I'm in Caesar's Entertainment, and I'm dealing with these people and so on and so forth. And there was one guy that I had at the Sahara who was actually a poker player. And he wasn't really worth a lot of money to the hotel, but I was real nice to him. And I really served him as like a king. And one time he had a friend who was coming to Vegas from Denmark. And he said, I want to introduce you and take care of him. He came, and he was like a whale. They call him whales. And
Did he
was,
bring a bag of money with him?
he was a big player. He used to come with a lot of money, and then sometimes he would lose it. And I'm still giving him stuff, the complimentary comps, as we call them. And so it really, I developed a relationship with him in which he taught me how to take care of whales. And that was to treat them with respect and dignity, and don't chase after their money. Just make them have a ball, make them have fun. So I had customers that were coming to Vegas, and I had a guy. I used to come from, I think it was from Florida. Anyway, he would come with a briefcase, and I would go to the airport to pick him up, and he comes out of the plane, and he hands me a briefcase, and he says, take this to the cage. Now the cage is where the money is.
Right.
At every hotel casino there's a cage, and they say that every hotel casino has to have at least $1 million in cash somewhere in the building. Anyway, I'm taking this briefcase, and I know when he says take it to the cage, it's filled with money.
So it's you and the briefcase. No one's around,
Yeah.
and you're taking this to the cage. Did it occur to you what was in that briefcase? I'm sure you knew.
I was dreaming how much is in that briefcase.
You think you could have got on a plane and beat it out of town?
But I remembered from my friend.
Did you think that?
I did, but
Yeah.
I remembered the rules. As you take care of high rollers, respect, dignity, integrity. Don't mess with their money, and don't judge them. So okay, I got the briefcase. I go into the Flamingo. I go to the cage, and I had a security guard. I told the clerk, I got a briefcase. So they take me in. A security guard comes over. Boop. They open the briefcase, and it's filled with $100 bills. And I'm like, wow, man, I could have scooped from Vegas, and I don't know how much I would have had, but eventually it was $100,000 in cash.
$100,000 in cash in that briefcase.
In that briefcase.
Oh my goodness!
And it was a trip. So anyway, I set it up, and now they have a credit line when they come to the hotel, and $100,000. When they're at the when they're at the table, and they call for a marker.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They have
It goes against the
bunch
deposit.
of money that's been deposited, or they have a credit for a certain amount of money. But my guy, he was a cash guy. So anyway, we're doing the thing, da-da-da-da-da. He's ordering and he runs out of money. 100,000's gone. in the various games that he was playing. So he says, I need to I need to get a money order. Western Union. I got to get hold of Western Union. He calls back home and gets 80,000 wired to him at the casino at the Flamingo, and I'm the runner. I'm like doing whatever. Yeah, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. All right, I got that. And it was a trip how taking care of them was like treating them
Respect, dignity,
with
and
respect
class.
and dignity.
We got to
and
take a
whatever they
break
want.
right now. I'm going to come back and ask you some specific questions you may not want to answer.
Okay,
You're watching
right.
Vegas Pulse. The
No
stories from
names.
the back of the house. No names. We'll be right back. Hang in there. I'm speaking with Vegas Vahan. He's a guy that knows what goes on at the back of the house. And he just told us a great story. Vaughan, let me ask you this. Did you line any of your whales up with girls? Did they ask for girls? What are some of the things that they asked for that you maybe didn't want to do?
Oh man, that was a trip. And Ron, you're right. If it happens in Vegas, I know about
I
it.
love that.
This is a trip. So I had one guy that would come, and he would show up with his wife. And I'm to have him on the 17th floor of the Flamingo, and then they'd get situated, and then he'd give me a call, and he'd say, I got a friend of mine coming. I want her to be on a separate floor. And I'm, the mind is going nuts here. All right, I got it, brother, I got it. Okay, so he would have his girlfriend go on another floor, and I would be taking care of her, and I would be taking care of his wife, and I would always make sure that if he wanted to be with his girlfriend, I made sure that the wife was in the spa or have a shopping spree. I would get the limo to take her to a mall, and coordinating these things was like driving me nuts. But I could not judge, and I would not judge. It was like whatever. As long as you don't hit them, I'm okay. I don't go for that. But whatever you do. But anyway, that was such a trip. This job of being an executive host is one of the most fun things. Well, almost. The most fun things is doing weddings. But taking care of millionaires when they come to Vegas and to have a good time, it's all about having a good time. And they're nice, they're kind, they want to take care of this and that. But sometimes they walk on the other side when it comes to being honest.
Did you ever tick one off?
I did.
They said, give me another host. I don't want this guy.
It didn't go that far, but there were people that would always think they should get more comps. You know what I mean? I would have them in a beautiful room. I'd give them food, this and that. But sometimes they want to get the penthouse. Sometimes they want to have a dozen friends go eat at one of the
gourmet room,
like the gourmet rooms, and run a $5,000 restaurant bill. But there were times when it was tough. They would always feel that they earned more than I was giving them. And actually, it was a fence that I used to jump between the owners of Caesars Entertainment and the player. And because, Caesars Entertainment, like I told you, man, I owed them a debt of gratitude because they really helped me to be able to build my life as an executive host. And so it was really, I didn't want to press them to the point where it wasn't fair.
I want you to come back for another show because you have got so much to talk about, and we just scratched the surface. But before we go, give a plug to what you're doing now.
Oh man, Vegas Vahan executive. I got back into my casino business. No, it's Vegas Vahan Custom Weddings.
Custom weddings.
And what I do is I'm an officiant. And when I do a wedding for two people, I treat them like
like a high roller.
like a high roller, but
Yeah.
like a brother sister that found each other. Not a brother sister, but two humans that found each other
Like family.
And yeah, like family. And I'm starting their life as a married couple, and I take it seriously. And we have a lot of fun when we do it. And my ceremonies, people after the people who are there, the friends and family, they say, "Man, how long have you known them?" I met them 10 minutes ago.
How do people get a hold of you?
Oh man, well you can do it on my email, Vegas Custom Weddings @gmail.com, or you can call me on my phone, 702-379-8062. And I want to do a wedding for you. So give me a call.
We've been speaking with Vegas Vahan, a colorful guy that's been around this town like me, and we have a lot of communication with each other over the years, and we've done business together, and it's always been a positive thing.
Good business.
We're going to bring him back for another show. Thank you for watching Vegas Pulse, Stories from the Back of the House. I'm your host, Ron Garrett.